The Foundation's headquarters loomed at the edge of the small town of Ravensbrück, its cold steel walls and flickering floodlights casting long, ominous shadows over the quiet streets. Few people knew what truly went on inside those walls, but whispers of covert experiments and unnatural phenomena circulated among the townsfolk, enough to keep most residents wary. Only a handful of the Foundation's personnel had set foot beyond the guarded gates, and even fewer returned with their memories intact. Among them was Dr. Eleanor Mason, a young, ambitious SCP researcher assigned to investigate an anomaly labeled SCP-095, known colloquially as the reflection of shadows. The entity, described cryptically in Foundation files, was a mirror-like artifact, an ordinary-looking antique mirror with a distorted, blackened frame that, when looked into, revealed more than the viewer anticipated. Reports stated that individuals who gazed into SCP-095 experienced visions of shadowed figures whispering wicked secrets, or were drawn into a persistent, haunted reflection that seemed to lure them toward a dark, unseen abyss. Eleanor's task was to understand its properties and, if possible, contain its effects. She was skeptical at first. After all, how dangerous could a mirror be? But the moment she entered the containment chamber, her nerves jittered. The mirror stood upright on a pedestal, its surface smooth and pitch black, as if absorbing all light around it. Initial observation, Eleanor murmured, flipping a switch on her portable scanner. The device flickered and hummed, registering no unusual energy or magnetic interference. She took a deep breath and approached cautiously. Her reflection, distorted by the black glass, stared back at her, an unnerving, featureless silhouette. "All right," she whispered, voice trembling slightly. "Let's see what you've got." Eleanor reached out her hand and slowly touched the mirror's surface. The coldness beneath her fingertips chilled her to the bone, yet she felt compelled to press further. As her hand moved closer, the reflection rippled and dimmed, as if the mirror was reacting to her touch. A strange whispering began, faint and unintelligible at first, but growing clearer. It seemed to crawl into her mind through her ears, filling her head with voices she couldn't understand but felt deep within. Suddenly, the room seemed to twist. Walls seemed to stretch and warp, shadows pooling at the corners like living ink. Eleanor blinked rapidly, trying to shake off the disorienting sensation. When she looked again at the mirror, her reflection was gone, replaced by the shadowy figures from the whispers. They lurked within the glass, their eyes glowing faintly, black pits consuming any hint of humanity. A cold, oily voice echoed in her mind. "Join us." She staggered back, trembling. Her throat clenched as her heart pounded. The whispers turned to screams, a cacophony of shadows crying out from the depths of the reflecting surface. Eleanor desperately reached for her radio to call for backup but realized her communicator had gone dead. No signal, no power. The room was cut off from the outside world. In a daze, she watched as her reflection slowly morphed. Her eyes appeared darker, more depthless, and her face began to distort as if a second, malevolent being was trying to emerge. The shadow figures in the mirror started to shift, stretching out tendrils of darkness that almost seemed alive, eager to reach beyond the glass. "Eleanor," a whispering voice hissed from within the mirror, "your humanity belongs to us now." She felt a strange pull, like an invisible hand dragging her closer. Her limbs felt heavy, her vision blurred with a flickering blackness. She couldn't move, couldn't breathe. The shadowy entities in the mirror beckoned, promising eternal darkness and secrets far worse than anything she'd ever known. Then, suddenly, a blinding flash of white light erupted from the corner of the room. The containment alarm blared. An emergency override had been triggered, an attempt to neutralize SCP-095 before it could fully manifest in our world. The glass shattered inward with a deafening crack, scattering shards across the floor, each one flickering like tiny black mirrors reflecting her own face twisted with terror. Eleanor was thrown backward, unconscious. When she awoke hours later, she found herself confined in a padded cell, the mirror gone, presumably destroyed during the trial. The other scientists told her she had suffered a psychotic break, that her mind had conjured the entire episode. But Eleanor knew better. She still saw them, even now. Shadows lurking in the corners of her vision, whispering secrets, terrible, forbidden truths, just beyond reach. Sometimes, when she's alone, She catches her reflection in a puddle or a window, and for a fleeting moment, she sees the darkness behind her eyes. She feels that cold presence pressing against her mind, waiting. The Foundation covered up SCP-95's destruction to prevent panic. But Eleanor knows they failed. The shadows are still out there, waiting, watching. They thrive in darkness, feeding on fear and curiosity. And someday, perhaps, they will find a way back through the cracks of reality to pull the world into their abyss. She can hear them now more clearly. Their whispers grow louder every day. Join us, they say.